Closing contracts. Closing contracts is the process to ensure that all contracts from the donors, vendors, consultants, and other providers are closed and there are no open issues. Closing the donor contract or grant, it's a step in which you need to review the contract clauses to make sure that you are not missing anything important. You check all the requirements are complete. These are contract requirements in terms of your evaluations, the audits, use of assets, the project completion report, financial report, and even management of bank accounts. Part of those elements of the closing the donor contract include that make sure that the project has met all the donor, beneficiary, and management requirements, that the donor has accepted the final report, that the project has completed all deliverables, and that beneficiaries approve the project deliverables. All of these elements usually are part of the contract, and they are important that they are closed, that all those elements are now completed as part of this process. Another important element for many projects is the closing of inventory and assets. Review the inventory and asset report. That will give you a list of all the items that were purchased with the donor funds that were not distributed for whatever reasons to the beneficiaries or the communities. Contact the donor for the process to manage all that remaining inventory and assets. They have specific clauses and specific procedures about what you should do without excess inventory, and obtain an approval for the use and inventory of assets. Just because you bought it with the team doesn't mean they belong to the project or to the organization. And that's why you need to contact the donor to find out what are going to be the process to manage that. Closing the vendor contracts is the review again of the contract clauses that you have with the different vendors. Review the terms of reference to make sure you're not missing anything important. Sometimes there will be a final report or some final deliverable that they need to provide. Ensure that all deliverables are complete. If you need, you can have a checklist, review it against the terms of reference, and then sign off for all deliverables. That means that there is nothing outstanding or pending with those vendors before you authorize their final payment. Complete and close any outstanding items. There could be some issues or any problems or whatever that was open during the life of the contract. Make sure that it's closed. Then approval of all the remaining payments, and prepare and send a completion letter to the vendor. That's important also for the vendor or consultants to have a letter saying that the project was completed, and depending on the level of satisfaction from the project. The next step is a vendor evaluation. That usually most organizations will have that. You need to complete an evaluation report on the vendor performance. You need to identify the strengths, the weaknesses. You notify procurement and a request to update the vendor database. That means that that report now needs to reflect the current and latest information on that specific vendor. And then you archive all the vendor information, all the communications, the letters, the contracts, the changes to the contract. All of that will become part of the project records.